As our society has become more aware of climate change trends, these phrases have made their way into our popular media and everyday vernacular. Before we get into the issue, let's take a look at climate change and evidence of its existence. The Earth's climate has changed throughout history, with 7 cycles of glacial advance and retreat in just the last 650,000 years. Most of these changes were caused by very small variations in the Earth's orbit that changed the amount of solar energy the planet receives. However, the current warming trend is particularly significant because it is very likely caused by human activity and it is occurring at an unprecedented rate. The evidence for climate change is widespread and undeniable. The rate of global sea level rising in the last decade is nearly double the rate in the last century. The number of record high temperatures in the United States has been increasing, while the number of record low temperatures has been decreasing. Glacial retreat is occurring rapidly almost everywhere in the world, including the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. Average global temperatures continue to rise, with oceans absorbing much of this heat. Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets are decreasing in mass, and both the extent and thickness of Arctic sea ice has rapidly declined over the last several decades. Ocean acidification is on the rise, and around the world, snow cover is decreasing and snow is melting earlier. All of these are significant evidence to show that climate change is occurring today at an alarming rate.
So, now that we've clearly established that climate change is occurring on Earth today, is there anything that can be done to stop it? According to President George W. Bush in 2001,
"We do not know how much our climate could or will change in the future. We do not know how fast change will occur, or even how some of our actions could impact it."
Despite the overwhelming evidence for its existence, there are still many unknowns about climate change.
These unknowns lead to a lot of inaction on climate change. According to a recent Pew Research poll, only 40% of Americans believe that climate change is a major threat to our country. The overwhelming percentage of Americans who do not see climate change as a pressing issue see the reality that climate change is slow. Unlike wars and natural disasters, climate change takes centuries to unfold.
There are definitely larger problems other than the environment. I mean, there are people in Africa starving. There are people that don't have the money that they need to survive in the United States.
While this change may be quick on a geological timeline, it is extremely gradual on a human timeline. It may take someone's whole lifetime to see a change of a few feet in sea level. For this reason, many people do not comprehend the full weight of climate change, leading to the belief that action does not need to come in such a slow-moving situation.
Yeah, and I mean, how much impact can a single person make? The world is huge. What are you gonna what can one person possibly do? And we don't even know that humans are the cause of global warming and environmental problems.
Yeah, definitely.
In some cases, organizations even attempt to work against climate change legislation. For example, the Koch brothers, owners of Koch Industries, a multinational group of companies that trades energy and petroleum, gave $67 million to aid climate denial groups. These groups aim to delay or completely stop policies that would enact programs to try to stop global warming. Supporters like the Koch brothers see the more immediate economic benefit in a country free of environmental sanctions than in a few generations when climate change may negatively impact the economy. Within the United States government, officials like Senator James Inhofe, a Republican from Oklahoma, believe that climate change may even be beneficial. Inhofe, the new chairman of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, published a book in 2012 titled The Greatest Hoax: How the Global Warming Conspiracy Threatens Your Future. These climate change deniers choose not to believe the scientific evidence presented and thus do not take any action on climate change.
And we don't even know that humans are the cause of global warming and environmental problems.
We don't know if that's actually happening. We still don't know if that's just natural climate change or we're actually doing something about that.
On the other side of the climate debate, there are those who believe action is necessary. From renewable energy to recycling, these individuals support programs that reduce the human impact on the environment. As President Barack Obama said in January 2013,
We will respond to the threat of climate change, knowing that failure to do so would betray our children and future generations.
CO2 levels have been increasing throughout the past years and have now reached a level of danger. A safe CO2 level is 350 parts per million, but if current trends continue, they could reach 1,000 ppms by 2100. Climate change is also making it harder for millions of people to access food. With increasing temperatures, wild weather, and unpredictable seasons, farmers face chaos. Because of this, food prices are going up and food quality is going down. Climate change is also proven to be linked to emissions of gas on our planet. The Earth could see gas emissions and temperatures hit a threshold. The Earth's temperature has increased 2 degrees and has the potential to continue rising. This rise in temperature is harming the habitat of many animals, especially animals like polar bears and seals, because of the melting glaciers.
I think that something needs to be done soon because there are a lot of bad things that are going to happen because of climate change, like severe weather events.
Climate change prevents potentially catastrophic risks to our economy. Although storms like Sandy are incredibly rare, sea level rise has made Sandy level events 50% more likely than they were in the 1950s. These kind of events are crippling our tourism industry and causing Americans to lose their homes and livelihood. On the contrary, a shift away from fossil fuels such as coal and petroleum and towards greater energy efficiency and renewable energy technologies would be good for the U.S. economy. It would save consumers money, cut oil imports, and shift consumer expenditures towards sectors of the economy that are more labor-intensive than energy supply. In 2009, the Union of Concerned Scientists found that a national renewable energy policy would create more than 3 times as many jobs as producing an equivalent amount of electricity from fossil fuels. Such a policy would create over 200,000 new jobs by 2025 and stimulate $263.4 billion in revenues from renewable energy technologies. Right now, many people are off-put by the high costs of renewable energy sources. While renewable facilities require upfront investments to build, once built they operate at very low costs, and for most technologies the fuel is free. As a result, renewable energy prices are relatively stable over time. UCS also found that a renewable electricity standard policy would lead to 4.1% lower natural gas prices and 7.6% lower electricity prices by 2030.
With all of these different voices weighing in on climate change, it can be difficult to decide what to do in your own life. On one hand, many people argue that there are greater issues that the United States can focus on, and this is very true. Wars, famine, and poverty affect a great percentage of humans and wreak their havoc quickly. Climate change isn't causing widespread effects yet, but as research shows, it will in just a few generations.
Those who are concerned about more long-term effects tend to be the environmental activists that are so influential in the fight to enact climate change legislation.
While these laws may seem to have negative immediate effects on the economy, a changing economic structure could actually bring more benefits than detriments.
With all of these factors to take into consideration, your decision to throw that plastic bottle in the trash or recycling just became that much more significant.
So, how will you react to the reality of climate change?